Hello, everybody. Today we're going to figure out the best of the best between the Kona Inline, the Tucson Inline, the Elantra Inline, and the Sonata Inline. Those unfamiliar with what inline means, Hyundai claims along with superior performance, the inline maintains a balance of tech, safety, and comfort. But comparing four cars is a lot of work. So I enlisted some help. Special guest, please introduce yourself.
By Rustlin. I'm about to start a gaming channel called Rustlin Gaming Bits. If you want to check it out, I'll be doing mostly Final Fantasy 14 content, but I will probably get into campaign of single player games and whatnot over time.
Hopefully, you have something by the time this video comes out.
Uh, hopefully.
We'll see. We'll see. No pressure. How we're going to get through this video, though, is I'm going to randomly select a car out of the hat. This hat in particular, I'm going to pick a name out of it. We'll discuss said car, and then at the end, we'll give you our personal list of final rankings. Me and Rustlin haven't shared our list with each other, so that'll be new to us too. Let's get started. Which one do you think it's going to be?
I'm hedging my bets on Sonata.
Edging your bets on Sonata. Here we go. What
Sonata.
is it? It's the Elantra. First category is exterior looks and colors. See, I love the way this car looks in the N-line form, where the front end isn't shaped like a helmet, but still not super crazy about this rear end right here, Vader shaped
Yeah.
part right here. I mean, it's okay. At least you get an orange color.
Hmm.
You don't get that in any other car. Wheels are fine. All right. Nothing too crazy. What do you think about it?
I think the wheels are right. I don't think they're the best in the inline segment. They're all look good, but I think certain cars have better look to the wheels than the other cars necessarily. But
They're not terrible, but there's better. But what do you think about the interior?
out of all the interiors of these cars, I do like the Elantra. Feels sporty. It looks nice. It's sharp. I like that they utilize that round blank space to the left of the cockpit for the drive mode button, which is just useless on other cars, upsettingly. Yeah, seats look awesome. I love the steering wheel. I have the same steering wheel in my Elantra GT Inline. I love it.
I think this interior is like my favorite out of all the cars. Love how everything is like driver focused. You know what I mean? Like the screen
Yes.
is just tilted towards you just a little bit. But I will say the downside for the interior is that you cannot get the 10-inch or 10 and a quarter inch infotainment navigation screen. Kind of sucks.
Probably the number one thing that would hold me back is that alongside a couple of safety tech and whatnot that's just like not in
No,
it for some
no.
reason.
Interior cargo space, right? I mean, you get a surprising amount of like passenger space, not a whole lot of trunk space. I think it's probably like the smallest out of all the other cars.
It is the smallest of all others, but if you're considering the fact that it is a compact sedan, it is a pretty decent amount of truck space, in my personal opinion. But I
Mm,
don't need a huge car.
see, that's where I differ. I need all the space
Yeah,
for all the junk. What do you think about performance?
I think the 201 horsepower engine, this car you can get in the 6-speed manual or the 7-speed DCT. Again, I do have the GT, the hatchback version of basically same engine transmission, the DCT, and it is peppy in that hatchback. And this is an even smaller car than that.
Oh,
So I think if you're really wanting to hold gears and you want to get that manual, I think this would be a very fun daily driver. Otherwise, the DCT, I've heard some things about it being kind of sluggish. I've
mm.
never had that problem, and I'm pretty sure it's the same exact transmission. So, what do you think about it?
1.6 liter turbo 4, 201 horsepower. The 6-speed manual is like the highlight of this freaking car. The only manual you get out of every other one.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean trade-offs here and there. Part of me really wants the manual. The price, right? The MSRP is like what,
Yeah.
$24,250. That
Yeah.
makes it the cheapest on this list, which, like you said earlier, is mostly due to the fact that it's missing a ton of features.
It is missing quite a bit, but if you're just wanting a base, peppy little car with that 6-speed, I think it'll be good. But when you jump up to that automatic, it is 25.5 MSRP, which really isn't bad for what you get, in my opinion.
If you're like me, never
Yeah.
had anything fancy to begin with, then you won't be missing anything. Let's move on to the next car, shall we? What do you think it is?
I'm going Sonata. I'm just going to say Sonata until
You
it's
can say
Sonata.
Sonata every time until we get Sonata.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hyundai Tucson Inline. You get to talk about the exterior.
This is the one that I have not set in. I've only seen pictures and videos on it. The exterior, it's not very different from the normal Tucson, but you get the nicer side skirts on that inline. I think, let me know what you think, but I'm pretty sure the taillights are almost blacked out some. I don't know about
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
but you do also, I believe you get blacked out Hyundai badges on the inline as well on the Tucson, which looks great on it, in my opinion.
I'm not sure about the badges, but the Tucson in white is like my favorite. I hate white cars, right? But the
Yeah.
fact that they have so many different angles and lines along the body, it's like you have to see this stuff. Like you said, the taillights almost seem blacked out, but the Fang style, because it's got the two,
Yeah.
4 points on it, man, that is so sick. I wish they did that in the Elantra. Like I really love the way the Tucson looks. And I hate to say that because it's like an SUV.
Yeah.
Sacrilege. I was gonna say the wheels too.
I agree. The wheels, they're in my top two for out of all four of these easily.
I think these are actually my favorite. Now they kind of look like a snowflake, or at least the machined out parts of it do. What do you think about? You mentioned the interior a little bit. You got anything else about the interior?
There's certain aspects about the Tucson inline I don't care for necessarily, which we'll get to. But the interior is phenomenal in this car. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Mm,
it is insanely good looking. Out of all the seats, out of all four of them, I personally think the seats in the Tucson inline look the best. On that front dash section, it's almost like a stair step from your main dash, and then you
mm.
have like a little stair step and then down to the glove box. It looks really cool, especially when they had in that red trim going across it.
I will have to say, I know you like the step of it, but I think the interior is probably my least favorite out of all of them. You
Really,
kind of like how there's like the vents are up top of the dash and they go all the way across in this nice little bar. The digital gauge cluster,
yeah.
there's no cover on it. And I'm not entirely sure why. And for whatever reason, I just keep thinking that if the sun comes in your car just right, you're not going to be able to see that.
I didn't notice that until you mentioned it.
Screen might be bright enough to where the sun doesn't freaking matter. Maybe they got like anti-glare stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I feel like it's hard enough seeing your phone out in the sun without turning the brightness all the way up. The whole slab thing in the middle, capacitive touch buttons. Everybody freaking hates those touch buttons that you can't tell if you actually pressed it until the screen does something. I need some actual physical buttons.
my least favorite part is the fact that you don't get the 10-inch touchscreen when you're paying that kind of money. And on
Mm-hmm.
top of just, I feel like that bigger touchscreen radio would have looked nicer
Mm-hmm.
alongside the whole interior look.
How do you feel about the space?
This will have a lot more space than the Kona, obviously. You can't beat it. I've driven a 2021 Tucson before they did the remodel. Tons of cargo room. You have tons of leg room in it. So if you're wanting more of that family SUV and you're wanting that sporty look to it, this would probably be more your option, I'm betting.
Plenty of space for people, plenty of space for junk, which I love. In my personal opinion, the biggest freaking drawback to this car is the performance.
Yes.
You saw it coming because we
Yes.
looked into this car and man, this
It
thing lets down. Zero performance added to the vehicle. No bump in horsepower. No like wider tires or anything like that. Maybe you get a different set of tires. I don't know, but that's negligible because there's still
yeah.
no like tuned suspension. There's nada. Zip.
I understand that the inline it's supposed to be that performance look. There are cars here and there that
Mm-hmm.
add the more performance over your other cars. This
Right.
one you have that 2.5 that every other Tucson trim has. An 8-speed automatic, not even a DCT, it's just an automatic. You can get all-wheel drive in it. That is the plus. The only other car that you can is the Kona. In general, you're looking at 187 horsepower, 178 foot-pounds of torque.
Which in this bigger car, you
It,
know what I mean? Surprised I didn't just put that turbo 2.5 in there.
yeah, with that 290 horse, this would have made so much more sense.
How you feeling about the price though?
I mean, you're sitting at 31,000 for the front wheel drive, 32.5 for the all wheel drive on the, like I said, 2.5 8 speed. It's a good price point for the Tucson in general for what you get in it.
Hmm.
But realistically, if you're going to be paying $33,000 and you have the little bit extra money to step up to that next trim, you probably might as well.
It's an SUV, and you kind of have to just make sacrifices. But you remember what I said earlier about superior performance? This ain't it, homie.
No, not at
I
all.
think it's time for us to pick the
The
next car.
Sonata.
It's time for us to
The
pick the Sonata.
Sonata.
Come on,
I
please.
swear, if the Sonata's the last one.
Here we go. What do we got? We got the Kona.
It's interesting in my opinion. What do you think about the exterior look?
I love the looks of this car, okay? Especially the body matching on the fenders. This is where you get that, color
Yeah.
matching option.
Yeah,
Split headlight design on the front, very solid. I know some people had complaints about those like three little vents. They are fake, yes. It just breaks it up for me. I really love that blue wave color, very bright. The wheels are, they're solid. They're cool wheels. For me, they're kind of busy.
you said the Tucson's your favorite wheels.
Right.
They are a very close second to these, in my personal opinion. These are my favorite.
Those are your favorite? Okay.
Yes, I
Yeah.
like the busy look.
What do you think about the interior?
I'm a mixed bag because I actually own a 2020 Kona and they really have not refreshed it much from 2020 to 2022. You have some nicer design looks inside, but not a ton. It's a cheap looking interior. I'm not gonna lie. It is nicely laid out. Everything's laid out where you can get to it easy. This is the only car that I believe these seats are fully cloth, which my personal opinion is a downgrade. It's the same exact steering wheel as previous years. It's just got the bolstering around the end. I have sat in this car. The N logo on the steering wheel, it just looks cheap on how it's laid out.
You're not wrong. Like I like the interior. It's functional. It's a bit basic, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Right. You can get like a tech package that gives you that 10 and a quarter infotainment screen.
It also adds the nicer radio, some more safety stuff, the LED headlights, the high beam assist, all that. So that's nice too.
This is a compact SUV, right? But the weird thing is that like when you look at it on paper, the numbers make it seem smaller than some of the other cars.
It's pretty roomy for its segment.
And I've heard some things that the rear can get a little bit cramped. What you lose in leg room, you gain in cargo space, which, again, I do appreciate.
What do you think on that performance?
I'm glad I get this one because the same 1.6 liter turbo as
The Elantra, it does make a little bit less power
a
though.
little bit less, 195 horsepower versus the 201. Can you tell the difference? I
Not likely.
probably not, but you do get that all-wheel drive.
Like the Tucson, this is the other option that you can get all-wheel drive in.
Well, like a 7-speed eco shift, whatever, dual clutch
Yeah,
transmission.
it's the same 7 speed you can get in the Elantra. I have two cars with that 7 speed in it, and it shifts quick. I will say if somebody is looking for this and they're thinking, oh, 195, I think I'd rather have the Elantra or whatever. It's just being this size, even though it is a small crossover, but some people may be thinking being this size, it may not be quite as quick. My Elantra is the old one that had the 175 1.6 in it. Put that thing down and it will go. It's very much geared to the low range. So if you're one like an around town
Yeah,
quick
yeah.
car, this one is do not rule out this one.
I have my eye set on the full N for the Kona. Forget this N
Oh.
line stuff. Let's go all out on it. Pricing. How do you feel?
I think you're setting pretty good for this segment and what you get on this car because you're sitting at base car no tech package you're at 25.7, all-wheel drive no tech you're 27.2, which I think is absolutely fine for this segment and what you're getting in it, even though it may be a little cheaper on the interior, but you're getting it in performance and that warranty. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. The tech
performance.
package you're in 28
Yeah.
area.
Get actual performance. Unlike
Yeah.
Tucson, buy it all, 28 grand. That's like the second cheapest option. I don't see the point of shaking this hat because
Yeah, it's
we
gonna be
already
it's gonna be the Elantra. I know, I feel it in my bones.
the Elantra or the Sonata.
No, the Elantra. It's time for the Elantra.
No, just kidding. It's time for the Sonata.
Just have to ask you a quick question, then I'll go on for the rest of it.
Yellow.
Give me your opinion on that yellow for the 2021.
Dude, okay. Do you know what is it? The mustardy yellow color? I think I've seen it
Yes, it's
before.
ugly.
You know what? Don't they have the same color on like the Acura TLX Type
Yes,
S?
it's horrible.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry. I hold no regrets in saying that.
no, that's okay. I mean, it probably is ugly, but to be honest, it's different. Exterior.
This car is nice. Like I said, the wheels, I personally think they are. I like them all. They're not my favorite, but they are up there. I like how on the inline the grill looks. I like it better than the normal Sonata. It looks a lot nicer in my personal opinion. Back is not much different compared to the normal one. Quad outlet twin tip exhaust. I think it's a good looking car. It looks not terribly different from Sonata, but enough to let it stand out.
And the DRLs. I forgot to say that about the Tucson too. Those
Oh
hidden
yeah,
DRLs in the grill.
yeah.
Nice. But I can't get enough of the freaking angle. It follows the hood line. Like, come on, man.
It
Why
is
can't I
really
get more
cool.
of that? I understand people don't like the whole catfish look, right? But dude, that's one of my favorite parts about it. I always appreciate the freaking back, how it has that lip to it.
Yeah.
Wheels again are great. I think probably my second favorite. Speaking of nitpicks, interior.
Oh no, no. Before you move on
Interior.
to that, we have something else to talk about on exterior.
What's that?
You forgot. You look
What
at
did I
that
forget?
bottom trim line right there.
What do you mean?
Look at
Oh,
that trim list.
yeah. If you
Yes.
spruce for the extra cash, you can get the N line night.
And you can only get two colors, white and black. But I would like to point out, yes, all black looks nice. Those blacked out badges on that white and those blacked out wheels. Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Why didn't they
Uh,
have the N line or N line day where everything was white? Wheels too.
it might look a little cheesy, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it probably would. But yes, N line night, all blacked out,
Yeah,
logos,
I think you get carbon
wheels.
fiber trunk spoiler on that too.
Are those red calipers too? Man,
Yeah, do you get those on the normal inline?
I don't
Oh,
think
you
so.
do not. I didn't notice
No,
that. Yeah. You get
that's
those
sick.
nice like actual in
That's sick.
calibers.
But is it worth an extra like $1,000?
You do get a couple extra features. I just don't remember what they are
I
off the top
mean,
of my head.
you can do it all yourself for like, a can of black spray paint. Just saying.
Yeah, but
Just saying.
I'm the kind of person I do not like to modify my cars. So not everybody may be that way.
I do. I'll scrape off that badge real quick and there you go. Look at that. Done.
Yeah. Now
Save you a
moving on
thousand
that.
dollars going out of the interior though. The giant 10 and a quarter inch infotainment system. The button shifting part is, throws me off. It's called a gear selector, not a button pusher.
You got the paddles. So if you're not really the kind of person that's going to be using the shifter to shift anyways, it might be a moot point for you.
Whatever my next car is, if it has paddles, I'm looking forward to it.
Let's talk about those seats.
The seats are solid.
I agree.
I
Like I
mean,
said, I think the Tucson's my favorite just
ooh,
because of that pattern on it looks really cool.
yeah.
These would I would say these tie for me for the Elantra.
I mean, I really like all the red piping, stitching, whatever you want to call it, all
Yeah.
throughout the car. Really nice. How about the space? It's a midsize.
Actually, I think I don't quote me to this, but I believe Hyundai still considers this a compact. I would put it more towards an in between. You do get more rear leg room than the Elantra.
Yeah.
Trunk is about half again bigger.
Yep.
Like this is your second cargo option right under the Tucson. You will not have a problem fitting four adults in this comfortably.
If you got tall people, dude, here you go. But
Yeah.
I mean, me
And
personally, I'm gonna have kids in the back. So how much
yeah,
legroom do they
this,
really need?
this is going to be your option, bro.
I don't know why this would be the option though.
Yeah, because I know what you're about to say next.
What is it?
You're about to say the performance, aren't you?
The performance, baby.
And I'm going to
This
let you
is
take this one because I know you've been waiting for it.
I don't know, man. Like this is what the end line is all about, right? Superior performance, right? We're quoting them on this, and this is when they actually deliver. I mean,
Yeah,
they delivered on some of the other cars, minus the Tucson. Not letting
yeah,
that
but
go. Sorry.
your gap is not that big on the other cars. This one, your gap is huge.
You get the 2.5-liter turbo four-cylinder that makes a very nice 290 horsepower. Come
Yes.
on. Eight
Three.
speed, wet, dual clutch transmission.
That is the same dual clutch out of the N as well.
It's everything you could really want, right? They say 300 is like the magical number, which
Yeah.
I don't think I've gotten half that, but one downside of the performance. One teensy weensy weensy. They upgraded all, the bigger motor, better transmission, but what about the drivetrain?
You might know more info on this one than I do.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Open diff, right? So you got 290 horsepower going to one wheel at a time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really wish I drove this car when I sat in it. I am going to drive this car, even though I probably won't buy one just because I want to know. Technically more horsepower than the Elantra and Kona in.
Mm-hmm.
With with it being a little bit bigger car, like not a ton
Mm-hmm.
bigger, you might have a little more weight. At the end of the day, you're going to be pretty close to the same speed, I'm willing to bet, just minus the special exhaust and all the things that make it in. The main letdown, in my personal opinion, on performance in this car,
Ooh, what's that?
the exhaust. It's sad.
It's quiet.
Like it's too quiet for what it needs to be. I understand you have that kind of family sedan, whatnot. But when you're
Mm-hmm.
getting the inline trim and you're adding that quad tip dual exhaust, give it some growl,
Give
man.
it
Like
something, right?
something. My GT with the 1.6 with the
Yep.
dual exhaust sounds better than this thing.
Probably just because they really want the luxury kind of,
I think that's what it is, but it's like I normally don't do performance upgrades, but if I'm buying this car 209 horsepower, I'm ripping that exhaust out.
all of this stuff comes at a price.
Yeah, pricing, you're looking at you do have two colors that have an upcharge. You're at 33.6 MSRP, 34.7 if you want the night edition. You do get some nice upgrades and you get a couple extra little things here and there. The way I see the price on this car though is if you're going to be paying that amount, you really have two options here. You pay a tiny bit more, get the Elantra in,
Mm-hmm.
and you get that exhaust, you get the actual performance features,
Mm-hmm.
the customization, all that, the in features.
Yep.
Or if you want the more luxury with more features in it, you can get the same horsepower, but you're not going to have that customability and that, let's be quite honest with you, phenomenal exhaust.
I think we've covered all of the cars, but now, what is your number fourth out of all of them?
I think you know what it is. It has to be. I'm sorry, but it has to be the Tucson.
Ooh, and I clicked on it. I guessed it right.
You already knew it was coming, and like I said, I like the interior look. I love the wheels on it. It gives it those blacked out badges. It looks nice, but you just it that 187 horsepower and that size of car, it's wasted.
Looks aren't everything, dude. Yeah, I mean, that's all it's missing is like one big fat turbo.
And if you threw in like that 201 or something, I mean, at least upgrade it a little.
Not exactly what I'd call performance, though.
Strictly there, in my personal opinion, for if you want a large family car, but you want the nice interior, like sporty look.
We both agree. Number four is a Tucson.
What about your number three?
Number three is the Elantra Inline.
That is not what I expected.
I know, 6-speed manual. It's a little bit faster. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know what it is that just I think it's what you're. It's cheap, right? You want that balance of performance and tech, and they're not really giving you tech.
I agree 100%.
You're,
Not trying to be a copycat, but
you're kidding.
no,
Oh
because
wow,
you expect it to be the Kona probably, but it,
I did.
even though the Elantra N has a slightly nicer interior, in my personal opinion, than the Kona,
Mm-hmm.
you do get that manual if you really want that manual. Let's just put this straight out here. If you want the manual, this is your only choice on the inline. I think it would still be a fun daily,
Yep.
but if you're factoring in the price it is for the features and whatnot, I gotta put it in third.
Really surprised they don't have like another package. Like a lot of these other cars have like a tech package, convenient package, who knows what else, right?
I really wish it did because I would probably be owning one right now.
Number two, what do you got?
I'm sorry, but it's gotta be the Sonata.
Oh no, you're kidding.
And that's probably a
No.
shocker because of the performance. Yes, you get that 209 horsepower. You like you said, it's a little bit lost with that, diff and whatnot. But in my mind, the inline is supposed to be the affordable, peppy, slightly performance, but with the looks. The price isn't there for me. It's expensive. Let's be honest. Out of all these,
Like I'm blown away that you would put this second, but I 100% agree as to why. It was very tough between this and the Kona. I'm not gonna lie. Straight raw power, this has it. You're right. It's expensive as hell.
it's your number two because I have a feeling I know what it is.
Oh, you know exactly what it is.
Oh, I do.
It's the Kona Inline.
I knew from day one.
You know what I mean? The interior is basic.
Yeah.
I can't get
No,
over that.
I completely agree. And with the cloth, with the seats being cloth and not even that half mix, it's a
Right.
little upsetting.
If you really want all-wheel drive, then the Kona is the one to get. If you live in the terrible weather areas.
If you're just wanting the front wheel drive, you can get into with the tech package, you can get almost the same amount of features as most of the other cars, if not more so. It's only sitting at like 27.5, which
Right.
in my personal opinion, when you're looking at the Elantra is what 26.5, something like that. For that couple extra thousand, you are getting a lot for your money.
The Kona is great. Number one for me is that Sonata. It looks
It
good. I
it looks good.
really wish there was an N version, like a full N Sonata.
Oh, give them time.
When I think N line, right? Like I'm trying to put all the N line in a scope where
Exactly.
they talk about the balance of performance and tech, and I'm
And
wearing this out.
price.
I think this is what they had in mind when they said N line. So we got the Tucson fourth place. We got the Elantra third place. We have, and it's a toss up. Ask me a different day, ask me tomorrow, and I'll probably have a different answer for you. Honestly, it comes down to what you can afford.
I think we placed a very good category on each of them of what you are looking for, this is the car you want.
If you want the manual, get the Elantra. If you want all wheel drive, get the Kona. If you just got a bunch of money, get the Sonata.
If you want
Yeah,
the huge family car
yeah.
with no performance whatsoever and you just like having track style seats, get the Tucson.
Kind of like that roundup. I think that's it for today. What
Yeah,
do you
I
think?
agree.
Any final
No,
thoughts?
get which one you guys like. Like we can tell you all day which one we like, but those are our opinions. We're
Those
just
are
letting you know
opinions.
what they come with so you know
Yep.
what you want.
There you go. So I mean, happy shopping. I guess hopefully this helps somebody out if you're seriously
Yes.
looking into buying this. And if it did, give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share it with somebody. That's it for us today. I appreciate you stopping by.
I
Say
appreciate you
goodbye.
having me, man.
Say goodbye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Y'all have a good one. All right. Take it easy.